What if I told you that spiritual awakening isn't about feeling peaceful? It's about watching your whole life collapse first. You don't just wake up. You burn. Everything you once thought was solid, your career, your relationships, your beliefs, even your sense of self, begins to crumble before your eyes. And the worst part? You have no idea why it's happening. At first, it feels like the universe is punishing you. One moment, life was making sense. The next, everything falls apart. You might lose your job, experience financial struggles, or find yourself suddenly disconnected from friends and family. The things that once brought you joy now feel empty. The people who once felt like home now feel distant. It's as if life is forcing you into an identity crisis, ripping away everything familiar. But here's the truth. This is not destruction. It's purification. Your old life is falling apart because it was built on illusions. Awakening is not about gaining something new. It's about losing everything false. And until the false is gone, the truth cannot emerge. Heal. Most people think spiritual awakening is about gaining wisdom, love, and enlightenment. But in reality, awakening is a process of stripping away. The person you thought you were, the one shaped by society, family expectations, and past conditioning, was never the real you. It was just a character, a mask, awakening tears that mask a part, and that process is painful. At first, it starts small. You begin to question things you once accepted without hesitation. Why am I chasing this career? Do I even enjoy the things I do? Why do I feel so disconnected from the people around me? Then, as the questions grow, the collapse begins. You start losing interest in the things that once defined you. Old goals no longer excite you. Conversations with certain people feel shallow. The things that once brought you comfort, money, success, validation, no longer satisfy you. This stage feels terrifying because the ego, the false self, clings to familiarity. It convinces you that something is going wrong, that you need to fix your life. But nothing is wrong. In fact, this is the most right thing that has ever happened to you. You are being stripped of illusions so that something deeper, something real, can emerge. The destruction of your old life is not random. It is intentional. It happens because your previous existence was built on illusions, things that were never truly aligned with who you are at the deepest level. The job you once loved may have been driven by societal expectations rather than true passion. The relationships you cherished may have been based on shared trauma rather than genuine connection. Even your ambitions may have come from ego, not soul. Awakening reveals these truths, and once seen, they cannot be unseen. At this point, many people panic and try to fix their lives by forcing themselves back into old routines. They chase distractions, dive into work, or cling to relationships that no longer feel right. But no matter how hard they try, life refuses to go back to normal. The harder they resist, the more chaotic things become. This is because awakening is a one-way journey. Once the false has been exposed, there is no unseeing it. The only way forward is through. This is why many spiritual teachers, Jesus, Buddha, Rumi, spoke about suffering before enlightenment. Jesus wandered the desert for 40 days, facing his own inner demons. Buddha left his entire kingdom behind, giving up wealth and comfort. Rumi lost his closest teacher, which led to his greatest spiritual insights. Their stories all point to the same truth. Before transformation, there must be destruction. Before rebirth, there must be death. You're at the peak of the collapse. Many people enter what is known as the dark night of the soul. This is the stage where life feels completely empty. It's as if you have lost everything: your purpose, your identity, your motivation. Even spiritual practices that once brought peace now feel meaningless. It feels like walking through an endless void with no sense of direction. This stage is often mistaken for depression, but it is not the same. Depression is rooted in the mind, while the dark night of the soul is a deeper, existential transformation. It is the moment when the ego fully realizes it is no longer in control. And because the ego only knows how to cling, when it begins to dissolve, it feels like dying. But here's the secret: you are not dying. Only the false self is dying. What you are experiencing is the space between the old and the new. It is uncomfortable, yes, it is painful, but it is also the birthplace of true awakening. Eckhart Tolle went through this. He spent 2 years in a deep void after his ego collapsed. But on the other side, he found peace beyond anything he had ever known. Once the destruction is complete, something magical happens. From the ashes of your old life, a new one begins to emerge. But this new life is not something you create with effort. It is something that unfolds naturally. Instead of chasing goals out of fear, you begin to move with life effortlessly. Instead of relationships based on need, you attract connections that resonate with your true self. Instead of living for external validation, you find contentment within. This transition is subtle. One day, you wake up and realize that the things that once caused you pain no longer have power over you. The people who left no longer haunt your thoughts. The dreams you once had no longer feel urgent. And yet, you are happier than you have ever been. Why? Because you are finally living as your true self, not as an identity created by the mind. This is why spiritual awakening first destroys everything before giving you a new life. The universe is not punishing you. It is freeing you. And freedom always comes at the cost of illusion. So if you find yourself in the middle of this collapse, don't resist it. Don't try to fix your old life. Don't chase the past. Let it burn. Let everything false fall away, because what remains will be the only thing that ever truly mattered: you. Your old life is not being destroyed. It is being dissolved so that something real can take its place. Awakening is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you have always been. And sometimes, the only way to find yourself is to let everything else go. Thank you for taking the time to explore this deep journey with me. Spiritual awakening isn't always easy, but remember, you're not alone. Every ending is the beginning of something greater. Keep trusting the process and let life unfold as it's meant to. Much love and gratitude. See you in the next one.